All right, this is Algebra. Today's date is Friday, November 22nd, 11/22. All right, so we are talking about interpreting system of equations, and this is our last lesson before Thanksgiving break. Our objective today is to create a system of equations from context, that's the first half, and the second half is to interpret points relative to a system. So these first two examples were creating equations, and this last example back here with Larissa, we're interpreting points. Specifically 1 point, but I'll do a few more examples so that we understand what's going on. So, example 1, you're reading with me. Ugo, you're using a blend of dark chocolate, it's dark chocolate, oh my gosh, of dark chocolate and milk chocolate to make the ice cream topping at his restaurant. He needs to buy 100 kilograms of chocolate in order for his next order. Dark chocolate costs $7 per kilogram, milk chocolate costs $5 per kilogram, and he wants to spend $560 in total. So we're going to let D be the number of kilograms of dark chocolate. I guess D for dark chocolate, so that makes sense, right? And M is going to be milk chocolate. Which of the following represents the situation? So let's go ahead and kind of write what's happening here. So in total, we need 100 kilograms. So if D is the number of kilograms, there's going to be an equation representing kilograms, and then there's going to be an equation representing money. Those are the two things, the two units that are happening in this problem. So always kind of pay attention to units. That's sometimes a good way to figure these out. So in terms of kilograms, a total of 100 kilograms. So something plus something is equal to 100 kilograms. And I also have a total of $560, so it's a total of $560. And that makes sense because 560, 100, those all make sense so far. So just using units of kilograms, since D is the number of kilograms, nothing is really added onto that. I'm just saying D is number of kilograms, M is number of kilograms, so I'm just saying D plus M. D plus M should equal to 100 because kilograms plus kilograms should equal kilograms. So D plus M equals 100, D plus M equals 100, so it's not A or B because it should be D plus M is equal to 100. So it's between C and D at this point. Now we need the correct units. Is it 7D or is it 5D? Well, what makes sense? So if I come up here, take a look. Dark chocolate costs $7 per kilogram. So D for dark chocolate, remember. So it's going to be 7 times D. 7 times D, and then the other one, obviously, 5 kilograms for milk chocolate, so 5M. It's going to be 5M. Where's 5M? 7D. Correct answer is C. Let's try a slightly different one. So we're talking about Eamon and Jade. So obviously this is not a true scenario. It's just like Ugo does not actually have a restaurant, I think. Eamon is 8 years younger than Jade, who is 2 times older than Eamon. All right, so we're going to say that E, lowercase e is Eamon, and lowercase j is Jade, and that's all in units of age. So notice that our units here aren't different. Like up here we had 2 units, kilograms and money. Everything here is always age and age. So both of these equations represent age, but they're just coming from the problem. So the easiest way to approach these is to know what the word is means. If you ever see the word is, it means equal to. So E equals. Remember, E is Eamon's age. So Eamon, E equals, and then 8 years younger than Jade. So how do I say 8 less than Jade, or I could say J minus 8, so E equals J minus 8. That's essentially what this sentence translates to. Okay, let's read the next part of the sentence. So it's now saying who is, so Jade is 2 times older than Eamon. So we want to say that Jade, lowercase j, is, the word is means equal to. So J equals 2 times E. 2 times E. Let's look for these. E equals J minus 8. E is equal to J minus 8, so that eliminates A and B. E equals J minus 8. We have that part correct. And then finally we need J equals 2E. J equals 2E. Correct answer is D. Again, general strategy for these, look for is, look for units. There are a few other types of problems. I just couldn't fit them all on here. All right, and the second type of homework problem is looking at points and interpreting what's actually happening. Are you spending too much? Are you not getting the right amount of whatever? So let's read. Larissa, You are using a blend of white corn and yellow corn to make tortilla chips at your restaurant. So she needs to buy 40 kilograms of corn in order, or in total for her next order. White corn costs 40 cents per kilogram and yellow corn costs 30 cents per kilogram. She wants to spend just $15. So here's a graph that represents that system. So these, again, look at the units. Units make this so much easier. In green here, I assume it's green. It might be brown or red. I'm colorblind. I don't know. I'm assuming this is green. This green, it's 0.5, 0.3, and 15. All of those are in units of dollars. Look, $15, 40 cents, 30 cents. All of those are money. So when I come back here, I'm thinking this green equation, that's my money equation. And then coming down here, my blue equation, x plus y is equal to 40. So 40 kilograms, so that must be how much corn. So I can say quantity of corn. This is amount of corn. Amount of corn. And the axes here are a little bit strange. So it says X represents white corn. It says X represents white corn, and Y represents yellow corn. It's not money per corn. It's just different types of corn. So it's kind of a weird way to make that graph, but let's interpret what's going on here. So first, I'm going to talk about the answer, D, and then I'm going to say, okay, what happens if I have a point here, a point here, a point here? What do those points mean? Because they're all possibilities on Khan Academy. So notice that the intersection here, and that's where I'm always going to start, the intersection is the answer of that sweet spot. If you are at that spot, then you have satisfied both these conditions. Like, perfect, we have spent $15 and we have 40 kilograms of corn. The only point that satisfies both of those conditions is the intersection here. But a lot of the time they're going to ask you about points that are not on the intersection. For example, right here, this is not the sweet spot. Something is a little bit off because it's not an answer. It is an answer in terms of the amount of corn because it is on the line of the amount of corn. So this point D says, hey, we have the correct amount of corn. So let's come down here. Buys the intended amount of corn. That's what I'm looking for. There's a typo again. Oh my gosh. Please remind me to give you XP, guys. I do this too fast. Buys more corn. No, buys the correct amount of corn. That's what we're looking for. So it's not B, and less than the amount of corn. Okay, so both A and C says we have the correct amount of corn. Intended amount of corn, correct amount of corn. So that's why it's between A and C, because we are on this line for amount of corn. That is a solution to the amount of corn. So now that the only difference between A and C, A is saying spends the intended amount of money or spends less than the intended amount of money. Well, if you spent the intended amount of money and you got the intended amount of corn, this is the sweet spot. That's saying that is the solution. That's this point right here, and obviously that isn't it. So by process of elimination, it is C, where Larissa spent less than the intended amount of money. So okay, C is the answer. But let me talk about why, just more than the fact that it's the one that doesn't work, or the one that isn't A by process of elimination. So if I'm looking only at the green line, ignore the blue line. I know that it is on the blue line, but ignore the blue line right now. This point is now below the green line. If I am below the money, then I'm not spending enough money. And that makes sense too. Like if I think about this point here, I'm spending more yellow corn, or I'm buying more yellow corn than white corn. And since it says up here that white corn is a little bit more expensive than yellow corn, I'm really saving money by buying more yellow corn than buying white corn. So I'm underspending. This all makes sense with the graph, which means if I went over here, while yes, I still have the correct amount of corn because I'm still on the blue line, but now I'm overspending because I'm above this green line over here. I'm above the green line, which means I'm spending too much money. Again, just compare against that money line. So let's give you another question. What if instead I gave you, I don't know, this point right here? This point, what does that say? I want you to pause the video. Like, it's not one of these answers, by the way. Well, what is this saying in terms of money, amount of corn? Okay, you've paused the video for at least 10 seconds. You thought about this. This is saying that Larissa is spending the correct amount of money because I'm on that money line, but I have bought too much corn because this point is above the amount of corn. I bought too much corn. Again, down here, go ahead and pause the video for at least 10 seconds thinking about what does this point represent. Okay, so Unpausing the video, this means I have still spent the correct amount of money because I'm on the green line, but now I have spent, or I don't have enough corn because I'm below the amount of corn. So what happens if the point is not even on any line? So let's try a point like, I don't know, down here. So what's happening down here is I am below both of these equations, right? I'm below the money equation, so this is not enough money. I haven't spent any money essentially, and I didn't buy enough corn because I'm below corn. I'm below both of these two lines. So I haven't spent enough money, or Larissa has not spent enough money, and Larissa did not buy enough corn. And I haven't seen a problem like this, but you might have a problem where there's a point out here. In that case, I'm definitely above the blue line, and I'm definitely above the green line. So Larissa, you have spent way too much money. You're way above this green line, and you got way too much corn. So you didn't satisfy either of those two. All right, I think that's a good review of all the different types of points you can get. That's all I've got for you guys. Have a great Thanksgiving break, and I'll see you guys when you get back.